As a stylist, I've been lucky enough in my career to travel the planet. Through my travels, I met some interesting people, seen some amazing places, and found inspiration all along the way. Join me as I make new friends, seek out inspiration, and leave a trail of hair behind. I'm Colin Caruso, and this is Style Trip. On this episode of Style Trip, we travel to the island of Aloha to meet up with industry icon Angus Mitchell. For Angus, hairdressing is in his DNA. To say his bloodline is strong would be an understatement. Angus is not only an amazing hairstylist himself, he also is the son of the late great hairdressing legend Paul Mitchell. Join us as we take a trip through paradise to see Angus Mitchell's Hawaii and learn more about the incredible journey of a family hair care company that has done well simply by doing good. Our story begins in a small white hut on the beach in Waimanalo.
The most amazing memories have always been right here in this spot.
Yeah.
And that was pre-Paul Mitchell, where he was recharging his batteries, where he could rethink what he wanted to do for the future of the hair business and the hair industry.
This is where it all started.
My father had started the company and it fell flat on its face. It was called PM. It was such a hippie line. Shampoo one was called Tea and Lemon. The conditioner was called Dream Cream. And I think the corporate company was based out of New York while my dad was living right here.
Right on.
My dad was on his last dollars. John Paul was on his last few dollars. And together they scraped up whatever they could to be able to create what is now John Paul Mitchell Systems. And, to be sitting here after 30 years of Paul's passing and the 39 years of our business, I mean, I can't tell you how proud I am.
Feeling inspired and hungry, we head to Buzz's Steakhouse, a Mitchell family staple and iconic island favorite since 1962. We got you a famous Buzz's Mai Tai.
Ooh, my favorite.
Enjoy.
Salute, my bro.
Akole Maluna.
Akole Maluna. Ooh, nothing like a Buzz's Mai Tai. Guys, this is such an exciting day. You know, what makes Buzz's such a unique, wonderful experience is this is really the place that my father and my grandmother and I would come. And it's the last restaurant, the most iconic restaurant on this beautiful beach. When I like to reflect back on who Paul was and where his life started in Scotland and earning all of his competitions and winning them and making his way to London and being able to work with Vidal. And then Vidal chose my dad actually to open up the first Sassoon salon and manage that in New York City.
Wow.
So it was part of the British invasion when fashion and makeup and music and rock and roll was just at its top peak. And the wash and wear hair. They had liberated women from rollers, and that's what Paul was famous for.
Yeah.
And Super Hair was his education center. And back in those days, he was actually creating and making shampoo out of beakers for individual clients. And so he was already pioneering individual shampoos before he even knew that it was the direction that he wanted to go. It's kind of like how we are. We're all hair nerds, and they would do classes, and they would stay up till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning doing classes.
Wow.
And really getting intense on every detail.
Yeah.
If it was hair cutting, if it was perming, if it was hair color. And they really got into, okay, well, how can we best benefit with product individually for each client?
Yeah.
But then, of course, at that time, it just got to a place where he just burnt out.
Yeah.
And coming to Hawaii was the place that just completely got him to unplug.
When you came here, was Paul Mitchell the hair care product company in existence, or when did that all come about?
You know, I think it began to come about when my father began to want to come back into the industry. But I think really what made it magical is Paul Mitchell products never really came out because it was a new type of shampoo. It was a new way of doing business. And the way that he saw it was this amazing sticky setting lotion called sculpting lotion. And it was a way to help hairdressers spend less time blow drying hair. If you could just set them down and do a simple finger wave or pin curl set, then that would give them a nice wet look. And then throughout the day, they could slowly brush it out and it would come out in a nice, soft, looser look, reducing the blow dry time and being able to work on more clients.
Always hairdresser first, always thinking about the hairdresser, and that started here. What do we have in store on this trip? We're all excited to be here. We want to see your Hawaii. What can we expect?
This is something that really means a lot to me and to my family. You know, the history of the places I'm going to take you is going to be fantastic. We're going to have an amazing time. But first, let's go in the back and I'll show you how to make these amazing Buzz's Mai Tais. And I'm going to tell you, this is the way that they used to make it back in the Elvis days in the 50s and 60s.
It's easy to see how Buzz's has captured the hearts of locals, tourists, and presidents alike. How are you?
It's Friday.
Aloha Friday.
Yeah. So we're all doing Mai Tais, right?
To Buzz's, thank you for having us. Now that we've learned the not-so-secret recipe for Hawaii's favorite cocktail, let's head over to the other side of the island to discover more about how two industry renegades turned 4 Paul Mitchell products into the #1 brand in styling globally, John Paul Mitchell Systems.
This was probably the second year that Paul Mitchell was birthed, and this was the first time he was able to actually get the credit to buy this house. We used to joke around that he was the short-haired hippie. So, you know, he always had these avant-garde ideas of self-sufficiency, creating this vegetarian farm.
How did the brand get started?
Well, my father and John Paul met. Together, those two were just so dynamic. John Paul being a door-to-door salesman, my father being the artist, and both of them having amazing personalities. People fell in love with these two. They were the dynamic duo. And to be able to see what they were able to do and build in such a short time, people thought that there was no way that we could have ever succeeded. And look at us today.
It's pretty amazing. So we started in Waimanalo, and Paul has his original company, meets JP, and now all of a sudden we birthed Paul Mitchell, the company. We end up here. What's happening in this era?
Well, you know, when he met John Paul and they had established a company, our corporate headquarters was in LA, but this was really where all of the creative things were happening for my dad.
After hearing a bit about the Awapui farm, we wanted to fly into Hilo on the Big Island to take a closer look for ourselves. Since its origin in 1980, the Awapui farm has been ahead of its time. Not only is the farm an extraordinary example of environmental consciousness, it's also the place John Paul Mitchell Systems organically grows and cultivates the Awapui found in its many products. Let's catch up with the farm's caretaker, Harry McDonald, to learn more about this magical place. So I'm here at Harry McDonald. You've been running this farm for how long?
About 35 years now.
And what do you do on a daily basis?
Keep the place looking beautiful. Yeah. We'll take a walk. I'll show you how we do it.
Let's check it out.
This is Awapui here.
Okay, cool.
And these bulbs, this is what grows up in it. And the Hawaiians used to squeeze that.
Wow.
And put it on their hair as a conditioner.
Put it in your beard?
And you can put it in your beard,
Nice.
put it in your hair.
So what is it? What are the benefits of it?
It's a conditioner. It's got all the amino acids that are really important to hair conditioning and shampooing, and that's what they use.
That's awesome.
And it grows wild. It grows very small. When it's growing in the gulches and everything, it's little like this, and it grows along the sides of the stream. But when we fertilize it, and we do it all organically here, when we fertilize this, it just grows bigger, and we get quite a bit off a square yard, much more than when we first started.
His vision in his life was about this property. This property birthed the dreams that he always wanted to create. Self-sufficiency, creating a neutral carbon imprint on this planet.
One thing I think we should touch on, never test it on animals.
Well, that's my favorite. You know, again, I said my dad was the short-haired hippie. I'm not joking. And you know, back in these days, nobody put that on a bottle. It wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
But it was my father's vision that, hey, together with John Paul, they both believed this is important enough to be able to put out there because they really believe in protecting not just the animals, but the planet. What makes me proud about our business is that we are a company that does well by doing good. How many companies can you think of that can walk the walk and talk the talk?
So I know there's a lot of amazing places on the Awapui farm here. Anything that's the most meaningful for you?
The most meaningful place on this property has to be my father's memorial down here. He loved this place so much, he wanted to be buried on this land.